I want to share some crazy, mind-boggling testimonies because I want to inspire your faith. As a business leaders, many times we're just trying to get through things, and we need an injection of hope and faith that God can do the impossible. And so I want to share a couple stories. I'm going to go through them kind of rapid, but I hope they bring encouragement and fuel and hope that God is the God of impossibilities. Where it seems like there's no possible way, God does it and shows up and goes beyond what is rationally conceivable in that process. So I want to share a couple. Number one, we just heard the story of a lady who's from our church who just got a brand new iPhone, and she was real excited about it. She's very particular about this, and she takes care of it very carefully. And she happened to look at it one time, it was facing down, and she picked it up, and there's a big crack all the way down it. She forgot to get the screensaver on it, and she looked at it, and she realized that the crack of the screen is cracked. She's just devastated, frustrated, disappointed. Like, I've just bought this brand new thing. I don't have the screensaver on. I need to go get it replaced. And so it ended up being a day or so before she could be able to do it. And, you know, the shards of glass are there, and she could start rubbing her thumb over it, and she can feel the shards of glass that are coming up. And she went to a store, and she was on the phone with her husband, and from my understanding, she was there, and it was getting like more and more shards of glass. Like, it was like almost dust of shards of glass, and she was rubbing it, and she was talking to him saying, I'm so frustrated about this. I need to go get this repaired. It's even getting worse, as she's talking to him. Well, she ends up seeing like all this dust on the phone, like the shards of glass, and she begins to rub it off. And as she rubs it off, all of a sudden she realizes there's no crack in the screen. I know, you listen to me like, what? No way. I'm telling you, there's a brand new screen on that it was completely made new. By the way, every time we share a testimony, it releases the promise that God wants to do it again. The testimony of Jesus, Revelation 19, is the spirit of prophecy. What he did before, he'll do again. He makes all things new. So I just declare and release over you right now things that have been broken, have been lost. He's going to make all things new. Another crazy story in business. I had a client who was closing down a bank account, and he was transferring over to another bank, all his stuff. He had most of it out except about a couple $100 he thought he had in there. And so he went down to close it out, went to the bank and said, hey, I want to withdraw the last couple $100 into out of this bank. And they said, well, do you want to just remove the couple $100 or all of it? He goes, what are you talking about? He goes, they go, well, you have $5,000 in it. He goes, no, I don't. He goes, yes, you do. You have $5,000 in here. Look. And they started looking through it, and he goes, that can't be right. I mean, a check must have not have been cashed. They go and get his bank registered, confirm everything. They're looking over it, like, yep, that cleared. Everything that cleared. And there was an increase of $5,000 in his bank account. The crazy thing was that week, he was short on payroll. Cash flow had been really tight. And he's like, God, I'm trusting that you're going to provide. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to figure this thing out and trying to navigate what to do. And as he's doing the closing out this bank account, God provides supernaturally $5,000. Crazy story, right? Another story, one of the leaders here at the church that we go to, he had lost his knife. It was a really high-end, expensive knife that his wife gave to him a couple Christmases ago, and he was over with his son, talking to him. His son took out a knife, and he goes, "Yeah, I lost the knife, my knife." And he's like, "The one that your mom gave you?" And he goes, like, "Yeah." He goes, "You should do that Bob Jones testimony." And Bob Jones, a while back, had lost something, and he goes, "God, I want my knife back." And when he did, out of thin air, the knife drops in his hotel room on his bed. I know, it's crazy, right? We're like, this is weird. You guys are making things up. Well, this guy that I know that lost his knife recently said, okay, God, I want my knife back. Well, he went the next day to put on his boots, the boots that he had worn 4 or 5 times since he lost his knife. And he puts his hand in his boot, and there's the knife. It shows up right there. Things that have been lost and stolen, God's returning. And I'm releasing that over you today. Things that you need a breakthrough for, God's supernaturally going to bring increase, like the $5,000. Another crazy story, this has to do with the healing. Just even Sunday night, they're going after some healings at service. And the pastor felt like there was going to be a correcting of bones that didn't set right. And there's a lady who had her 2 fingers that had broken when she was young, a teenager, and they'd grown 45-degree angle, crooked. And as they prayed, they straightened completely out. Absolutely astounding. And so I just believe God is correcting and adjusting and healing people as well. And so I just want to release the testimonies of Jesus, of crazy supernatural miracles in your life, that you start to expect and invite God into those situations. Without a declaration, things don't happen. So I encourage you, God, I invite you to come in. God, I want my knife back. God, I'm believing for increase of supernatural. I'm not just name and claim a thing. I'm talking about partnering with God, but know that He supersedes our logic and shows up and does incredible things.